The news this morning, despite a death sentence for the man who threw acid on Preeti Rati just a few days ago, a fresh case of this inhuman crime has been reported from West Bengal. 3 girls returning from tuition were attacked with acid in a bus. The assailant evaded capture by fleeing right after the attack. The victims have claimed they do not know who might have been the perpetrator. This comes just days after an Indian acid attack victim walked the ramp in New York in an unmatched show of strength. But the question is, can the authorities show similar toughness when it comes on cracking down on the vendors who sell acid over the counter, despite a Supreme Court ban, and those beasts who use it for such acts? A shocker of a story coming in from West Bengal, where 3 girls are victims of yet another story of acid attack. As we just pointed out, the big question is, how is acid so readily available to these monsters? After all, the Supreme Court has banned the sale of acid over the counter. Yet we see cases of acid attacks coming to light, despite a strong sentence in another case of Preeti, where we've seen it is a death penalty being given over here. The question really is, how come it hasn't acted as a precedent or a deterrent, really, for such people who indulge in such horrific crimes? 3 girls there have been attacked in West Bengal, in Bankura district. Let's go across to my colleague Saurav Sanyal joining us with further details. Good morning, Saurav. A complete shocker of a story that's coming in despite the Supreme Court ban, like we pointed out, and despite the fact we've seen such hard sentences and other acid-related cases. How is this really carrying on, and where are the accused?
Well, that's right. Indeed, a shocker of a story coming to light from West Bengal, this time from Bankura district. In fact, this is an incident that came to light yesterday evening, as we reported first on NewsX. Now, these 3 students, the victims, essentially, they were returning home after a private tuition class. They are college students who study in first year of a local college in Bankura's Jaipur area. So while they were getting off the bus, they felt a burning sensation, and that is when they realized that they had been attacked with acid. Immediately after they disembarked from the bus, a hue and cry was raised, and the locals, they hid out the bus and they scanned the bus to figure out if the acid was in possession of anyone who was traveling in the bus. The police also rushed to the spot. The police was patrolling the area as it is, and they rushed to the spot, but then their search too yielded no results. So the unfortunate part of the story, even this morning, Akshay, is that so far the culprits who perpetrated this heinous crime, they are still on the loose. Police has not been able to identify as to who were the main people behind this attack, though they maintain off camera, of course, that the investigations are on. But the girls were taken to a local hospital where they were treated, and this morning they have all been discharged from the hospital.
Well, that was going to be my next question. What's the condition of these girls? How badly were they injured in this acid attack? Because as we know, that acid attack can take away lives as well, like in the case of Preeti that we saw. But now, how are these 3 girls doing?
Well, that's right. In fact, these girls, that is the only saving grace in the story, that the girls suffered, this attack. But the attack was largely, their face was spared, though there were blisters that were spotted on their necks. There were blisters that were spotted on their hands. And these girls were treated immediately after they were rushed to the hospital. And that is where, after the initial treatment, the doctors felt that they were fit to go back home. They have gone back home, but the psychological scars that they, got yesterday, they will remain for a long time to come. All that they want now is justice. And yes, the big question that NewsX is asking is that if there is indeed a Supreme Court verdict regarding the acid attacks, if the sale of acid over the counter is banned, then how can acid easily pass on to the hands of miscreants who can use it for dubious purposes? So that is the big question. It would be worthwhile to wait and watch and see if the government of West Bengal indeed comes up with a plausible answer.
That's right, and that needs to be proved all across the country, isn't it? How is acid so readily available? We'll leave it at that, Saurav. Thanks very much for the latest updates.
It would be worthwhile to wait and watch and see if the government of West Bengal indeed comes up with a plausible answer.
That's right, and that needs to be proved all across the country, isn't it? How is acid so readily available? We'll leave it at that, Saurav. Thanks very much for the latest updates. On that note, we'll take a short breather. Much more to come. Stay tuned.